Next, I would like to give the floor to Vani Sharma, Managing Partner at TransNational Training Solutions in India, speaking about the title Reboot and Recovery, Solutions for Challenges Faced by Small Women-Led Businesses in a Post-Pandemic World. Without further ado, the floor is yours.
Okay, great. So I
Yes.
love races, Joost. So I'm going to start off quickly, and I hope to finish within 10 minutes. I'd like to start off by thanking Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham and CWEGE, specifically Dr. Bhavani Rao, and also thank Yamuna Bonan for making me a part of Parvi. I think she's already mentioned that earlier. I am going to be speaking about Reboot and Recovery, a project that I'm working on, and specific to one of its core areas, which is trying to find solutions for challenges that are faced by small women-led businesses post the pandemic. Why am I here? I have 18 years of corporate experience, tying up training and learning needs in large organizations. In 2018, I did a U-turn as far as my corporate profile is concerned, and I became trained in counseling for prevention of sexual harassment. I became a coach, and I also started working in the areas of gender and diversity counseling for organizations. Today, I help women entrepreneurs in building small sustainable businesses, and I work with policy creation endeavors, or I collaborate with colleges and universities in adding and restructuring their entrepreneurship programs and their management courses. And apart from that, for organizations and businesses that are struggling as far as their finance, technology, marketing, outreach areas are concerned, I work as a resource counselor. And in some cases, I also help with emotional and situational counseling. Now, prior to COVID, the core areas or the reasons why women entrepreneurs used to come to me, it was a little bit of a disappointment yesterday and today to understand that across the spectrum in different organizations in different countries, wherever UN has a footprint and under the SDG windows, I think the human challenges, the stereotyping that women are going through, and the nuances of problems that are being faced across the board, a lot of the challenges appear to be the same. And I'll come to this in a minute, but I think the silos in which we are working, this particular conference can actually break some of those and make it a continuous running battle rather than each one of us trying to dig a well when water is required. Now, what I was working at, or what people who I'm collaborating with were working at for specifically for women entrepreneurs, was in the area of personal behavior related and family and environment related challenges, which came under the top 8 categories that are shown on the screen right now. That we were battling with self-confidence being low, in spite of having degrees. There is a certain level of helplessness when it comes to decision making. We are notoriously clubbed under the poor negotiating skill category. We are known as soft targets. We are set aside when it comes to awareness, vis-a-vis people who come under different other genders. So if we want to start a business, personal cash is something that we have to depend on, and we're not part of the spectrum where personal cash is notoriously available to us. In all, sidelined is not a word that I would use, but it showcases the spaces where women need to get out of, the headspaces that women need to get out of, and the areas where a lot of my colleagues and I were working in. Uh, there have been a lot of inputs in the areas of pulling women out of the stereotyping spaces, like being patronized or not being taken seriously, and failure protocols when we actually fall down and need to close businesses or need to close enterprises. These were areas that were part of regular conversations prior to COVID. I'd also like to take a few seconds to talk about the fact that pre-COVID and post-COVID, some areas have remained running battles. We are talking about how easy is it for a woman to get into business, what are the technology-related information and ease of getting knowledge about how technology can take your business forward, the ease of getting finance and the ease of getting refinance. How can I market my product specifically in the post-COVID area where everything seems to have moved online, and e-commerce seems to be the best way to go. Traditionally, there have been some entry barriers as well for women to get into areas which are heavy on technology, heavy on infrastructure, or heavy on initial capital. So those battles remain, but newer challenges have come forth with changes of governments as far as India is concerned. Understanding how government policies are now being construed, digitization all the way, and artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, and machine learning. How can that be taken into consideration when I'm trying to build a business? There is one specific area where I've put in maths. This is the initial absolutely core area of understanding the maths of building up an enterprise. I have found a lot of women being challenged by understanding how many people to hire, what should my initial capital investment be, how many products should I initially buy, build, create. So these have been at the core of conversations and challenges pre-COVID as well, and I expect these to continue. So this particular project will be looking at these areas. For the scope of this particular project, I'd like to specifically mention that if you look at the third box, I have MSME as a definition, which is micro and small and medium scale enterprises in India, where the maths is around the investment in machinery. We are not looking at, we're looking at a spectrum where the investment required is between 1 to 10 crores and the annual turnover falls between 5 to 50 crores. We are also looking at scoping it out so that we are only focusing on women-owned and women-led businesses. And we're looking at both internal as challenges as well as environment-related challenges. This particular project looks at changing the spectrum of perspective and ease for women post-pandemic, which is September 2019 and beyond. We're letting the space between March 2019 to September as a moratorium space. There are 4 specific areas where we will be looking at creating opportunities and looking for solutions. One is at a national level through intervention and participation in workshops such as these, and helping to create a voice for women. On the ground for women on a one-to-one level, I hope to be a conduit and a voice for businesses, and through that make societal and attitudinal changes happen. I've also identified the out of scope areas. Obviously, the businesses run in countries other than India, and those that are led by other genders is going to be out of scope for this. I think quickly I'm going to talk about, for 30 seconds, I'm going to talk about the fact that post-COVID for women in India, confinement has increased to a large extent. At-home responsibilities have increased. Time devoted to sustaining family, the burden of unpaid care, frequent disruptions, even when I'm trying to focus on the work from home aspect, or I'm trying to build up my business. And my own struggles in trying to, if I'm a woman entrepreneur, understanding digital channels and digital interactions. These are the core areas where we are going to be putting across a blueprint for women to be able to gain ease. On the other side, areas which have gone down specifically, and questions are coming to us, are revenues. How do I improve my revenues? Should I exist in the new scenario, or should I close down? How do I get logistics, and what should I change my channels of supplies? And how much time vis-a-vis what I'm devoting outside of the business should I increase? This is in balance of conversations where men seem to have, or other genders seem to have a much larger spectrum of time available to them vis-a-vis women. So these are sustainability related conversations that we are trying to bring to the table and the radar of organizations such as Amrita. A lot of helplessness is being seen in whether new entrepreneurs or existing entrepreneurs should change their delivery model or their product lines. How can they go digital, and learning to change their supply chain and payment channelization methods. I think the reboot and recover solutioning process that I'm looking at has a 5-step agenda basically. One is creating a national level blueprint about basic gender sensitivity and interconnecting knowledge networks, and internal whiteboarding about what I can and cannot do, and who I can reach out to if I'm in certain kinds of business-related trouble. There is space for psychosomatic and skilling protocol, and where fear conditioning and 360-degree skill maps are being planned. On the finance front, there has been a lot of talk between yesterday and today, and in over 350 people that we have interviewed, there is just 17% of awareness as far as Government of India schemes are concerned. If I want to register my business online, if I go in for a loan request, I require 4 to 5 trips versus a man, and we're trying to understand why that happens. And to what kind of behavior changes can be brought about. And negotiation of repayment stages is an area that we are trying to put in behavioral related training for. We're also looking forward after this conversation of how we can look at one window counseling as an end-to-end procedure for all kinds of entrepreneurial related challenges, right from pre-ideation stages to a mature stage. We're looking at the complete spectrum and where exactly do I feel the most vulnerable about. Constant education is something that I learned is a challenge, specifically in the areas of technology and product augmentation, looking at what is the new product that I can bring in, or product related changes or additives that I can bring in as far as changes that have happened in other countries or other spectrums.
Vani, can I ask you to wrap up now, please?
Yes, please. If you can just give me 10 seconds more.
Good.
Post W36, we have thought about save, adopt, teach, connect, and cross-border a collaboration. And I will be speaking to other mentors and people who have joined us here today for augmenting these parts of the project. Thank you so much for inviting me for the talk today and for making my project a part of the discussion and consideration. I thank Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham and Dr. Yamuna and Dr. Bhavani again. Thank you, Joost, too.
We thank you, Vani, for this excellent presentation, very rich. A lot of hooks, here where you can say there's work to be done. There's follow-up action that could be envisaged. And I think the point that you made of breaking silos is such an essential element that we find across the world. Everybody still remains in sort of silos. So finding ways to break free from these silos is excellent. And I think you've given us some good examples.